What nonsense is this? Rubbish people. How can I receive such an amount of money?
How much did you get?
£200.
Let me see what you got. Oops. See what I got. I just received £200 from my brother.
Oh, you got a lot more than I do.
Oh yes, with MoneyFix, you can receive money from any part of the world to Cameroon directly into your mobile money account at the cheapest rate.
Wow. Are you looking for the best exchange rate for all your money transfer? Try MoneyFix. Log on to moneyfix.com. MoneyFix. Fast, easy, and cheap service to Cameroon. MoneyFix.
One of the things that make me feel very beautiful and very confident as a brown skinned woman is choosing the right skincare products. So here guys, I feel of the products that I use that make me feel very beautiful, very confident. And if you have any skin issue, be it acne, hyperpigmentation or oily skin, dry skin, whatever problem it is you're facing with your skin, trust me, Escape is here for you. Escape is actually formulated to suit all skin types, all melanated skin types. So when you use this, you see how confident I'm feeling. This is going to be you after using Escape products. Trust me.
Ta-da! Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to you all. How are we? I'm sorry. Hey, guys. Hey, my delicious. Good to see you all. Happy weekend. Happy September. Happy new month. Hi, how are you all? Come on, guys. Pump me hearts now. Share the video. The views are not very encouraging. Come on. Share the video. Pump hearts. I see you all. Okay. Let me see if I can get the names. Belinda Tata, good evening to you. Thank you. Joycelyn Sisa, good evening to you, darling. I see you. D. Milo Wise, hey, greetings. Greetings to us all. It's Rosie Precious. Hey, my baby girl, how are you? B. Helen, Larissa Ijang, La Fleur Lamour, always there. Joycelyn Sisa, B. Helen, Kunze Joy, Fonge Harriet, and all of you guys, please kindly share the video, pump hearts. Those of you watching, okay, today we're going to have, of course, a great time together. Now it's going to be interesting because the crew members are nowhere to be found, so every one of them is busy somewhere else, okay? But of course, because it wasn't unplanned and unforeseen circumstances, we said, you know what, I said I was going to come here and then let's have a chit chat moment together. So the entire relationship Hot Topics crew is not there, okay? So B has B Emanuela, she has an international conference that she's speaking at. B Song has work commitments. Denzel, not very much in good shape, okay? But hey, the show has to go on because we're already set up for this. Now, what we'll do today is going to be a little bit different because, of course, I don't have a panel and I'm going to use you guys on here as the panel, okay? And then, so we're going to have a chit chat, more like just having a discussion moment on domestic violence. Now, this is a very, very hot topic that is very close to my heart. And I want us to really talk about it because there's a lot of you out there who are going through all of this and you don't know the way out of it. You know, I believe that if we share ideas together, we are going to obviously come up with something, you know, considerable. So, hey, I see some of you joining again. Share the video, guys. Please, pump hearts, share and pump hearts. And hey, I need all of your contributions today, okay? Please kindly do that. I see Giselle Itale. Hi, I am Gafak. Doris, hey, Linui Unique Fari, Asa Josephine, Priscilla Nyonge, Sylvia Asangana. Hey, bless me. Again, guys, Brian Ekola, Perpetua Akwi, I see you all. Ekoti Aisha Epede, I see you all. Guys, share the video, okay, Palm Hearts, and be ready for us to talk about this together, okay? So I greet you all watching. I greet, the panel members in absentia. So Denzel should be lying and watching this and look at how messed up you've made me today. Bisong, of course, and B are gonna join us. Of course, gonna catch up at later on. So guys, let us cut to the chase. Without further ado, I'm just gonna start up with oops. That's it on the screen. So domestic violence and the way forward. I didn't even, I wrote that without looking at what I was writing. So I was thinking it didn't come out really right. Okay, so keep sharing the video. Share, and share. Guys, share the video. Share, and share. I don't know why somebody is pumping a black face, but hopefully that is an error. Well, whatever is getting you annoyed, okay, before the end of the show, hopefully that you can you can be relaxed. Okay, guys. I see a lot of you joining again. Godi Guaya, Tanto, Tosam Relindis, Amas Blink, Ame Bizin. I hope I got that right. Kunde Joyce, Charles Efim, T Blaze. Hi, all of you. Avi Rose, my very own kind. Hey, sister, I see you. Thank you so much. Ake Favor, thank you all so much. Have you shared the video? Have you shared? Are we ready? Let me know in the comments if you've shared and you're ready for us to move ahead with this topic. So domestic violence is a really I really want to lean, but my position here is a little bit all over the place. So domestic violence is a very tricky topic. I didn't really prepare much because I was hoping on the rest of the panelists who, of course, had unforeseen stuff coming at the very last minute. But of course, I will be talking as though, like I said, you and I will take turns, okay? You ask questions, answer. I'll ask questions, and you answer in the comments, and I could project that. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that by myself, okay? Thank you all. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Can we now focus? Are we ready to start the show? Let me know in the comments. Are we ready to start the show? Eta Richard, Eta, you're saying amen. Yeah. Sylvie says, I'm ready. Thomas Abongui, hey, hi Thomas, you've always been there. I see you. Thank you so much. Yeah, everybody shared. Have you shared? Have you all shared? Asa, maybe I'm there. Hey, ready. I see you, darling sister. So yes, ready. What is domestic violence? What would you say? Because domestic violence, normally it's been the popular abbreviation for it is DV. So when you hear me say DV, just understand that, okay? And you've just joined. If you're just joining, please share the video, palm hearts, of course, and join us in this. So let us know in the comments what domestic violence is. So I did write down a definition. I wrote it down because I did not want to miss out on the major words that I got. I got this definition on an article that was written online, and the definition felt to me like it touched every angle, okay, sort of touched every angle. Now, this particular topic, somehow we all will relate with it because in a way we have faced domestic violence somehow without even knowing. You know, more like we say depression comes and then people don't know that they've been depressed. Some people face it, they go out of it, they don't even understand that that's actually what they were facing. So this definition sort of cuts across every angle, and I'll just read it as it is, just so that all of us can get it. Okay, I see you all. When you join, please just share the video and pump hearts. Tag your friends to get in here. Okay, Dolores, that your name is a jaw-breaking one for me. De La Cruz Sanchez. Yeah, I hope I got it right. B Helen, Nkezi Zinia, B Laura, Melanie Queen. I see all of you. Okay, please just keep sharing the video and pumping hearts. So let me know in the comments what domestic violence is, but I'm just going to read this definition that I got. So domestic violence is a behavior in an intimate relationship. So first word, it is a destructive, keyword, destructive behavior in an intimate, another keyword, intimate relationship where one or both, I hope we're getting it right, persons try to dominate and control the other in a dating or marital relationship or cohabitation. I'll take that again. I just wanted to highlight the keywords because that's what we'll be talking about, okay? So domestic violence is a destructive, number one, destructive, okay, behavior in an intimate relationship where one or both persons try to dominate and control the other in a dating, so that intimate relationship could be a dating relationship, a marital relationship, or cohabitation. So domestic violence, you could be in a dating relationship, say boyfriend girlfriend relationship, and you still face domestic violence in it, because some people only attribute domestic violence to married people. Again, you could be married and you're facing domestic violence. Again, you could be cohabiting and facing domestic violence. So domestic violence is no respecter of the relationships. It is not limited to marriage. It's not limited to come we stay. When we say cohabiting, it's come we stay, like that. It is not limited to boyfriend, girlfriend. It's all of these relationships, as long as it is an intimate relationship. I hope we get that, guys. Yes, I'm reading I love the definition that Budi Elbling has put up there. It's related somehow, somehow related to the one I mentioned. He said, first of all, I would say domestic violence is related to close relationship and abuse by the opposite partner, relative, and more. Exactly. So it is about abuse. Please, where are all the men? They should come. Exactly, guys. Please tag all your male friends, tag your boyfriends, tag your husbands, tag your brothers, okay? Tag your sons. Most importantly, like we always say, that women are the ones being taught about relationships on a daily, and then the men are not getting it, okay? Or the men shy away from such thoughts. But hey, it is both ways. There is no relationship, there's no one person doing a relationship. It takes two to tango, and that's why I'm keen on having the men to be part of the program, okay? So that's what I'm saying. All of us are going to participate. I need you, when I ask a question, I'm answering, give your own so that I can project on the screen and we can pick up keywords and we can all learn together. Guys, it's going to be a great show, okay? Just stay glued on to your screens, and of course, we're going to get there. I see Aisha, yeah, where are the men? Yeah. My emphasis should be laid on the word destructive. I love that. Destructive, okay? Because it's not just any kind. As long as it is a domestic if it is destructive, it's domestic violence. There is no constructive domestic violence. There is no behavior that is constructive, which is tagged domestic violence. So if it is domestic violence, then of course, then it is a destructive behavior that has been given rise to that tag. So just so we know, okay? And people are saying not only men, of course. We're saying that it's a lot of women on here, and we need the men to come participate as well. So let us get it. Now, exactly, coming to what you've said. Now, please, no one should tag me. Of course, you're there, so we don't need to tag you. I'll just see Tedo Brown. How are you? Welcome. Okay, let me share before we continue. Yes, guys, do as Tedo Brown has done as well. Kindly share the video, palm hearts, okay? And then we're just having a very intellectual exchange, both of us, all of us, okay, not just me. And like I said, our team members will join us. Of course, they're going to watch the replay, but for today, they're not here for very unforeseen circumstances happened. So we just have to make do with you all. And I said, okay, rather than keeping you people hanging, let us come and have a chit chat moment and learn together. Okay, Prince Dikum is saying that men are victims of domestic violence. That was the next thing I was about to get into. Okay, women emancipation is poorly misunderstood by a lot of women. Exactly. Now, what Prince has just said is highly true. It is true for the most part. Now, when we talk about domestic violence, for the most part, most people always think about the women being violated, the women being going through all of this, we fail to understand. Now, Denzel is always the one who has the statistics. Denzel would have given you, say, okay, in this and this, we had the statistics of men and domestic violence and all of that. But if I'm going by my own empirical data that I have on the platform, domestic violence is 50-50. I would say that from my own experience, it is just that the men don't really express themselves like we do. And somehow society doesn't, I would say, in my understanding, society doesn't really listen to the men as it does the women. So yes, women are victims and women cry easily, and somehow society gives an open ear or an open arm to the woman and the child much more than they do the men. So the man, especially from the African descent, thinks, you know what, it is a taboo for me to complain that my wife is beating me up. It is a taboo for me to complain that I am going through domestic violence. My friend will laugh at me. You guys must have had situations like that. We've brought up situations on the platform where a woman is beating a man and then the woman goes scot-free. Bless me. The woman goes scot-free and then the man is mocked at, like, okay, this man is powerless and all of that. That's how, especially from the African descent, the man's complaint about domestic violence is not very much taken, because somehow we think that it is only the woman who is being violated. Okay, we think because the man is the stronger gender, it's if somebody has to be violated or somebody has to be beaten up or somebody has to be messed up, it is coming from the man to the woman, and it is nothing can be further from the truth than this. Okay, it is, in my opinion, 50-50. So when we're talking about domestic violence and looking at the perpetrators, both genders should take equal blame for this. Now, why is it limited to women? Most often we talk about domestic violence limited to women because somehow, especially those of us from the African descent, we have somehow limited domestic violence to just the physical bit. Listen to this again, I'll take that back. Why is domestic violence attributed just to the female gender, or assumed that the male gender are the perpetrators of it and the women are the female genders are the victims? It is because we have limited the definition of domestic violence just to physical violence and physical abuse. And because when you limit it to physical abuse, because the man is the stronger gender, then the woman is the weaker gender, it is somehow obvious that if there's physical combat, it is going to be the man who will dominate. And remember the key word when we started, we said domestic violence is all about a destructive behavior and the goal is control. Guys, I hope we're getting it exactly. Domestic violence, the goal of domestic violence or violence or abuse is control. And the stronger one usually is the perpetrator, because obviously somebody cannot control you if you're stronger than them. But where we go wrong is we're limited to the physical, whereas there is the mental or psychological abuse that most often the men face. There is the emotional one, which of course goes with the mental one, okay? There is the physical one, which that's what we're limiting ourselves to. And guess what, guys? Most people, because it's easy, sorry guys, I don't know if I know that you're not really sending signals out there. Guys, share the video. I know that you're having fun. Okay, pump hearts. I see a lot of you pumping hearts and I'm happy about that. Okay, please kindly share the video. And for those of you, I don't know if you don't know, I'm live, so you're sending messages and it's interrupting the show. But guys, share the video. Okay, pump hearts, tag your friends on here. Okay, tag your friends, and so that we can have a great time together. Yeah, so Azza Mabel is saying that forgetting to know that there are some women who are stronger than men. Exactly. Okay, there are truly some women who are stronger than men. Truly some women, of course. I don't know, I would have brought the video, but I was really relying on the others, so I didn't bring the video to project and all of that. But there are some women who are stronger than their men, and because they are stronger and it's a taboo topic to talk about their wife beating you up, the men would rather find solace in a beer bottle, a stick of cigarette, another woman's arms, or you know, with their friends, in the company of their friends. That's literally what happens when the woman, when it happens on the other side. Okay. I get somebody saying that I'm stronger than my boyfriend. Hopefully, it's not a bad thing in itself for you to be stronger. It is only a bad thing when you misuse it. So the problem is the abuse of power. Okay. And if you want to use the strength to control the other party, that is when it is not advisable. Okay. Yes. I'm reading this from Amos Bling, saying that domestic violence is a pattern of abuse, abusive behavior towards an intimate partner, yeah, in dating or family relationship where the abuser exerts power and control over the victim. So it is power and control. So you have strength, you have the mental strength. That's why I said it is not just limited to the physical, even with the mental. So if you're mentally stronger than the other and you're using that to control the other, it is abuse. Okay, it is abuse. And we're going to look at the different kinds of abuse. I just had to mention that because you guys brought it up at the very nick of time. So we have different. Clara is saying that red card to domestic violence. Guys, so what we'll do right now is please kindly tag no to domestic abuse, domestic violence in the comments. Say no to domestic violence. Can we have that in the comments? Say no to domestic violence. We have women suffer from physical violence while the men suffer from emotional and psychological violence. That's coming from Prince Dikum again. Exactly. The men suffer. So it's just a handful of men who suffer physical abuse, but the women suffer the physical while the men suffer the mental one. Yeah, we're going to talk about all of that. We have Kessie, I hope I got your name right, John Dim. He's saying thanks for highlighting that aspect African view on domestic violence. Thank you so much. Hopefully you guys have shared the video. Keep sharing the views are dropping. Share the videos. If you have been abused, okay, we would love to have your experience on here. We would love to have your take. So guys, keep sharing the video and pumping hearts, okay? Okay, so we have physical abuse. We have mental abuse or psychological abuse. Mental. We have sexual abuse. We have financial abuse. Okay, I learned this one from Emanuela. We said there's financial abuse and emotional abuse, of course, which is somehow tied to psychological abuse, but on its own. I like to always dissect them. So on its own, there's emotional abuse. And then we have spiritual abuse as well. So there's spiritual abuse. Now, in one of our relationship topics, we did talk about this. And I mentioned that I think when we're talking about it, it was just in passive. So we just kind of listed them. And then Emma mentioned the financial abuse. Somehow, one kind of abuse could lead to the other types of abuse. And now the thing is that, so yeah, you could start having physical abuse and then it morphs to psychological abuse and emotional abuse. And then it morphs again to sexual abuse. And then again, it goes to emotional abuse and all of that. I beg me, my wife no beat me because I don't go through psychological abuse. Come on. I mean, come on. I mean, this is what we have to talk about. Mental abuse here. These are things we have to talk about, okay? Have you shared the video? Keep pumping hearts and sharing the video, guys. It's very interesting. I like that you're pumping hearts. Thank you. I see all of you. Ropsy Mofo. Hi, Ropsy Mofo. Ropsy Mofo is saying that, please, ladies, not place the idea of this physical abuse one-sided. It's both sides or it's both-sided or okay, cause especially for us ladies, our men suffer from verbal violence, and it goes a long way to maybe changing the patient's over us. Okay, I get it. So Rob C. Mofo is saying that there is verbal abuse, okay, which of course women use for the most part, and of course it changes the man's patience. We'll talk about that when we're dealing with causes of abuse, which of course is the next thing that we have on here. But I will talk about that, okay? So just be patient. Guys, can you pump hearts and share the video, please? We have no, yes, please guys, write in the comments, say no to any form of domestic violence, any form of domestic. I like that. I like the way you specified any form. So it's not just physical abuse. Before you say, oh, I said say no to physical abuse. So domestic violence, say no to domestic violence. Now that financial abuse sits with me, and I know women are responsible. Okay, so that financial abuse with me. Let me see who wrote that. Is Aisha Tega. Aisha Tega is saying that financial abuse suite, they are all interrelated. Yes, all of these things are interrelated. Yeah. So one abuse, it could start from one and it leads to the other. So it could start from verbal abuse, especially, and then it goes to physical abuse, and then it goes to psychological or mental abuse, and then it gets to emotional abuse, and then financial abuse, and then sexual abuse, and then all of these things. And one person could be facing all of this. As bad as this sounds, it's true. One person could truly be going through all of this, and it's that bad. Again, both of them could be doing it to each other. So one person comes today, and because you're grounded in this aspect, I'm stronger than you, I beat you up and all of that. Then the other thing now, the woman on the other side uses the mouth to abuse the man and abuse. So that's why when I was talking in the definition, I said it happens, it could either be a destructive behavior from one or both parties. So two people could be in a house and both of them are abusing each other, are violating each other. So that we are clear, it is not always one, because the tendency is when a woman rushes out to the public and lashes out and cries about physical abuse, we end it at that level, and we forget to know that it could be both ways. So the man has been tolerating, and he could not tolerate anymore, and then he resorts to physical violence. Now, when I think I'm rushing because I wanted to take it one step at a time. When we take the woman, we do a rehabilitation program, we do therapy, we do all of that for the woman or the man, and leave the other side because we fail to see that these things are both ways. At the end of the day, it's like building one arm. And when you build one arm, the other is left like that. Okay, so there's, at the end of the day, it is an improper situation. So one person is helped out, the other is not. So guys, Prince Dickum, stop disturbing. Now, so you don't worry, place now, worry, and just focus. You were doing really well, and now you want to just mess up what you were doing. So I love this comment from Godi Guaya Tanto. Domestic violence can also be termed as, or a pattern of incidents of controlling, keyword controlling, coercive, threatening, degrading and violent behavior, including sexual violence in the majority of cases by a partner or ex-partner. I love that. Oh, I love this. Guys, take note of this comment on the screen. Partner or ex-partner. I actually missed out on the ex-partner because somehow we forgot that you could actually be facing this not from the person you're in a relationship, but with an ex who has somehow refused to move on and is bent on abusing you. Okay, I love that. Thank you so much, Godi Guaya. But also by a family member or a carer. Exactly. It is very common. It is very common. In the vast majority of cases, it is experienced by women and is perpetrated by men. That's where you and I will not agree. Say in the vast majority of cases, I think it's 50-50 because the physical, except you're talking about the physical bit, which I said, if we limit it to the physical bit, of course, the statistics of women being the victims would tie. But if it is limiting it to both, then it is 50-50 because the men are facing as much violence as the women are facing. And because today we don't want to zoom in on just one part, we want to talk about it in general. So every other person, a perpetrator could listen and hear and have a solution, or the victims as well could have solutions, just so that we know. But I love the A and B part of your comment. It is really very important to understand that they are exes, okay, family members, and of course carers who also perpetrate these acts. So yeah, I have a comment from Perpetua Akwi saying that sometimes, yes, mommy, sometimes violence intensifies as the relationship ends. After divorce, violence still continues. Exactly. That's what Guaya just said, that exes matter. And I'm really happy that you guys are bringing that up because I missed out on that because I was only focused on those in a relationship, or just in a relationship like that. So guys, kindly share the video again, pump hearts, do not stop, especially that ex wahala. I'm telling you, you've moved on from a relationship and your ex has not moved on, and he or she is still bitter, and they don't want anything to do with you. They don't want to see you happy, and they've sworn with the last drop of their blood that you will not be happy. And when an ex is that violent and vicious and dangerous, you want to stay as far away from them as possible. If whatever, I always say, when we'll get there, just one day at a time. Let me take your comments, and then we'll get into the causes of this violence. We'll look at the different types of domestic violence, and then we get into the causes of all of these. Okay, so I'll take comments in the comment section. There are some of you watching from YouTube. Hi, everyone watching from YouTube. So we have somebody's Guan Changui Pelashi saying, "I beg take my cry." Yeah, I love that comment again. That's still the same comment. Yeah, I have domestic violence. Domestic violence, life matters. Is that what I asked you to write in the comment, or you just decided to get a different hashtag? Okay, Cynthia, I understand what you wanted to say. Ha ha ha. It's mostly men that do financial abuse. So okay, I get it, because somebody said it was the women. So you're responding to that. In the case where he's the only source in the home, he uses money to control the woman. Okay, now we've gotten into the different causes, or I mean the different types of abuses, and let us just start with the financial abuse. Okay, usually we start with physical abuse, but let's start with financial abuse. Guys, pump hearts, share the video, tag. I'm not seeing you tag people in the video. Tagging means call your friend, they made it inside video. Let us talk about this. I'm really, really excited about this, because this particular week, I don't know, the end of August and the beginning of September, it's been violence, 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 violence. And there's no better time to talk about this, okay? Maybe we've talked about it, but it's just more like reiterating. And I'm happy that we all are having a good time together. We all are learning, okay? Red card. Red card to domestic violence. Carton rouge, exactly, right? Yeah, so especially that ex-wahala, God bless you. And we have sometimes intensify after a relationship ends. Yeah, I read that comment already. Say no to, write it down in the comments, guys. Say no to domestic violence. At least that's a hashtag that we can run with as well. Say no to domestic violence. We are learning, Mom. Tell us. We are learning. I'm learning as well. So, okay, it's exchange for both of us. Now, let's start with the first one, financial abuse that you all mentioned. Let me read her comments. It's really interesting. Now, remember that for abuse to take place, one person would be the stronger power. One person should be stronger in that aspect to be able to abuse the other. That fact should be made clear, because if you're not strong enough in that aspect, you cannot. Remember, the key is control. And when you are controlling somebody, it means you have a lot of that, you're grounded in that aspect before you can be able to control the other person. So we understand the facts, okay? I need to state these things rightly, because some of these words could be misinterpreted and misplaced. We don't go and start using, oh, it is abuse because of, that's why I want to use us to talk about the different causes and really see when it is not abuse. Just so that your husband or wife doesn't do anything, just anything, and then you run out there and this is abuse. And because we somehow have diluted the original meaning of these words, the people who are really going through abuse are not taken seriously, because somebody will come on the media and complain about abuse, and then you get into it and you realize that it was just a character flaw, it was just a misunderstanding, it was actually the person who actually started it off, it was actually, it was both ways, it was nothing, okay, and they just use the word abuse. And the next time when you cry wolf, the villagers are not going to turn up. I hope you understand when I say that. Okay, say no to domestic violence, guys. Say no to domestic violence. Can we write that down in the comments? Okay, so the first one, financial abuse. Now, this works. I'm trying to get her comment. Dikum is saying that we should breaking it down might be confusing. It's not going to be confusing, Papa. Don't worry, okay? I think that if you break it down, people are instead going to see that, okay, this is exactly what I'm dealing with. So for instance, we cannot sit here and just talk about venereal diseases and not say that, okay, HIV is different, herpes is different, hepatitis is different, all of these things are different, okay, and the different modes, because remember, the different causes have their different solutions. Just so we understand, I can't box everything and just talk about it. If we box everything, we would be making an error, okay? Just so you understand, that's why I'm trying to break it down and we all can do it. So hope you understand. So number one, guys, let's go together. Write it down in the comments. Financial abuse. This is crazy. Again, I'm still trying to come up with most of the comments. It's Shay Struggle. I see you, Papa. I know you've shared already, right? He's the head of state violence. Case study. Papa Frank. Now you sabi. As you did, so I never call name. Now you know. Okay, hi, it's good to see all of you joining. Can you kindly share the video? Yes, okay. Muriel Cora is saying that it's true. Mostly in Europe, X always vows to make the partner useless. They hate seeing the partner moving on with life. And in most cases, they tend to use their children to destroy the man or the woman. Excellent. It's very true. But let's go one step at a time. Why? I guess what I'm trying to see, I'm trying to look at the comments that she made. I think one person made on financial abuse. I'm trying to see. I can't see it. It's been too many comments now. Oh, hopefully I can see it. I can see it. Yes, number one, guys, write it down in the comments, financial abuse. So financial abuse, remember I talked about control. So this is in a situation where one party is financially grounded, has enough finances to make the other person miserable. So we'll use examples just to demonstrate that, and you guys can put examples as well in the comments. So for instance, you as a woman, you get married you come from a very, very poor background, and you meet a man who promises you a job and to make you fine as long as you will constantly sleep with him. Or you get married to, that's in boyfriend-girlfriend relationship or relationship. Remember I said it could be in a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship that's dating, it could be in marriage, and it could be in cohabiting. So come we stay. So all of these different levels. So when the man or woman uses their financial power to suppress the other person, usually you would see this in families, homes where the girl comes from a very poor background and the boy comes from a very poor background, and whoever has the money uses it to mess them up. Okay, they cannot say anything. You could literally buy everybody in the family. You could literally, you buy your way, whatever is happening. Somehow they cannot speak. You control them with money. Guys, I'm trying to get a comment that is coming here. That is in dating. Some of these, you go to a place, you must have to sleep with people to get that. If you don't sleep with them, you cannot get any benefits. I will pay your school fee if you sleep with me. You will have this if you only sleep with me. Somehow, not necessarily sleeping, do other crazy things. Somehow they can blackmail you just because they have to. You need the finances. And because you come from maybe a background that is not very financially buoyant, or from a very poor background like that, these persons will use their money to violate you. So you can do anything, and even when you run out there for help, they will still use money to cover up the eyes of a lot of people. They could bribe the authorities that be, they could bribe your parents, they could bribe your friends, they could bribe anything as long as they have the money, and you cannot speak. Typical financial abuse. Or on the flip side, some other person, maybe a woman or a man still, goes out there, works money, the man or the woman still siphons the money, takes the money, and does whatever they want. So you take a month, go to work, put in hard work and everything, and they seize the money from you. You have no say over the money that you work. Like I said, it is in different angles, and we see all of these things in the different exceptional cases that come up. So people come on there, somebody is working. You see this in relationships. A woman is going to work. She goes there and she works. She comes and says, out of respect, husband, this is the money that I worked. And then the husband takes and squanders it out there with people. Or doesn't even give anything to the woman. The woman doesn't know anything. Or says in the guise of, we are having a project, bring all your money, and then the woman cannot even wear a good hair. The woman cannot do any makeup. The woman cannot wear any dress. The woman will trek. Meanwhile, she is working. Financial abuse. Men do abuse the wives financially. Women do abuse men as well. Another example is a man takes out time and sponsors you. You are so financially demanding. This poor boy is there doing everything for you, sending you to school, paying your school fee, paying your younger one's school fee. You know you're not going to get married to them. You made this boy create, matter of fact, taking everything from their savings and given to you, sponsor you, and that's it. Matter of fact, the boy cannot do anything for his own family. Financial abuse. It's a lot of angles you can look at it. But most importantly, it is to control. The key is to control. So you control the people in that particular aspect. So if you're in a relationship where you're being controlled in that particular aspect, remember, it should truly be controlled. Not to a man and a woman has come together. We have a project. We want to work together. You're working, I'm working. Okay, let's put our heads together and see how it comes out. And then you go and start saying it's control. No. I'm insisting on these things just so that you people it doesn't become an error. But a woman will go work money, or a man will go out there work money, and the woman takes and squanders it and uses it on her family or his family, and the other party has nothing to benefit. The other person is living like a pauper when they are truly working, and you cannot see any evidence of an employed person or financial person. That is abuse. It is abuse. A lot of people do it. I'm not trying to limit it to just one side. Guys, share the video, please. Pump hearts, okay? And let us and please put your comments as well. Okay, any man or woman taking advantage of innocent people is worse than the devil. Exactly, Shay Struggle. This is what happens. So, like I've mentioned, given the 4 different kind of scenarios. The one where a young girl will go to look for a job in a financial institution, and the man will be like, before you financially, I will sleep with you, you will do this, or you have to pay. Even the ones who will insist on you or blackmailing you to pay. You take your salary because they have a secret of yours. They start blackmailing you. So financially, you have to be paying. You have to pay them. If you don't, you know all these blackmailers. Okay, I have your nudes. You understand? And you have to pay me. You have to pay me to keep my mouth shut. And every month I have to give you half of my salary or all of my salary. Financial abuse. It happens. And this is one thing, like I said, this is one thing some exes still do. They have your nudes, you have to pay them, or they have to blackmail you, otherwise they will release it. And because of the fear of the unknown, or the fear of what people would do, or how much scandal it can go out there, we're scared to speak out. At the end of the day, we are dying inside, and another person is ripping off our sweat. Financial abuse. Physical abuse, guys. Can we write it down in the comments? Somebody is saying childbearing abuse. Now show me all kind of abuse then for you. I never ever hear about childbearing abuse. Okay, I think the childbearing abuse. Can you explain what you mean by childbearing abuse, just so that I don't abuse your abuse? So let me know what you mean by childbearing abuse, okay? Because I've never heard about that. But let me just know exactly what you're on about, so that we can see if we can coin it better. And if that would mean something, because we're learning, I can learn that as well. Others could learn that as well, okay? Guys, keep sharing the video and pumping hearts, okay? Let us talk about this. So we've talked about financial abuse. If you have any other scenario, the second one is physical abuse. If you have, as I'm explaining, and you have a scenario, okay, that it ties with what we're saying, maybe like an example that I've not given, please put it in the comments as well, okay? Let me see. There's a long comment here coming to him. Somebody's saying, okay, Taz love. He's saying that, well, I got a funny example here. The man is the owner of the money, but gets blackmails like you are behaving like this or that because you are the one having the money. Even cases of feeling like you are better or without him, you are better off rather without him is constant in our lives and breaks relationships a lot. Okay, I get it. So the man has the money, but the woman is using, you know, words to blackmail. So somehow you're emotionally, remember that I think this falls more on emotional blackmail, what you've just said. So it falls more on the emotional part. So emotionally blackmailing somebody out of, so I think it will fall under emotional. So the man has the money, but the woman, oh, you're doing this because of that. The other day we were talking about complex and education and complex, and how people who are not very educated, or people who have not attained a level of education or so, always blow things out of proportion. Not even about the education, but people who have a lot of complex will blow things out of proportion and somehow turn the table and make it feel like you should not be your real self because you want to be yourself. They always want to make it feel like, okay, you should apologize for that. You should not be an apologetic about your life. You should apologize for their errors or their weaknesses. You should not speak because they cannot speak. You should not dress well because they cannot dress well. You cannot give an opinion because you have to factor in their weaknesses and so that on all of that. So I get exactly, but it's more of emotional abuse. So what's physical abuse? Straightforward. Physical abuse is abuse of or violence that has to do with the physical. When you see a woman who has constantly been punched in the face and you see the red eyes, this one is mostly with the men. That's the men are mostly the perpetrators of this particular abuse because they are the stronger gender. Somehow they use their fist on their women. And we always say that the moment you don't raise your hand for woman, you are worse than a coward. The moment you start using your hand on a woman like that, you're worse than a coward. Okay? Now, if you notice, because the man is the stronger gender, the woman is weaker, the verbal abuse and the physical abuse, they go hand in gloves. So what am I saying? Physical abuse, because the man is stronger to beat up the woman, punching the woman. You see women who wear dark shades all the time because somehow they're covering for the blood clot underneath their eyes, red eye shadow underneath. They have maybe a broken head, so they wear a wig and you don't know that there's plaster underneath. Their arms are broken, they've tied their arms like that. They cannot speak because they've been crying, their voices have gone. Their leg, one leg is broken. The other day we saw on the platform, was that yesterday I put up, where a man was pulling the hair of a woman and coming out. It was rooting from the roots like that. You know, to women, only women can understand how rasta the hot. Only for me until hold your hair for 1 second. Then imagine having to pull it and uproot it from your hair, from your scalp. How the pains. For born picking. Nothing compares that, nothing beats that in terms of pain, the way woman feel and could drag woman hair like that. Physical abuse. You're beating the woman every day because somehow the man is beating to prove power. Remember, we said keyword, power and control. So he wants to feel like the man. Somehow, if he sits silent, he doesn't feel enough. He must punch to prove that he's the man. And when I say physical abuse and verbal abuse, they go hand in gloves, because the more the man is beating the woman, the more the woman is speaking. The more the man is punching, you will kill me today, oh, you useless man, boom. You illiterate, boom. You something when you compare with your friends, and boom. Your age mates are building houses, you're here beating it, push. You imbecile, push. You are frustrated thing, push. You cannot even do this, bam. Your manhood is not functioning, wash. This is what's happening, literally speaking. So when that is happening, the woman is talking because the man's ego is that huge. The man cannot take it. For men, remember, this has to do a lot with lack of self-discipline. I wanted to write something down so that I don't forget. So when that is happening, the woman is insulting the man. Now, it could instead be from the woman's side. Every day the man sits quiet. The woman comes. You know if you walk, you be this and that. You lazy man. You know if you do anything. You know your mates they do this. The man sits quiet. That's abuse going on. These are the kind of abuses that are not counted. Abuse is going on. You know, frustrated thing. I don't can manage you. You know, I will be better off without you. You don't can't mess up my life. The man is there. The more, this is how it is. He's pissed. That's what he do. Normally, that's how it is. As he eat it, so the more the woman is speaking, that's how it gradually coming. See, this is what the man is saying inside of him. He's doing this. He's doing this. Have you seen men who do this like this and then they just leave? Because this is the fist coming together. Your hand is like that. So normally when it's like that, it is still at that stage where I can tolerate the beatings. And that's how his hands are. And the moment you keep talking and he's getting to his elastic limit, his hands are coming together and coming together. And then it finally gets this level where he has to punch. And that's how it works. So it must not necessarily be the man starts beating up the woman before the woman starts talking. It could be the woman talking to the man anyhow. But again, remember we're insisting on the stronger person. So in some relationships, the woman is the stronger one. Very few, but yeah, we have the stronger women. And sometimes a man will not even know that the woman is stronger than him until they get into a physical fight. Guys, share the video and pump hearts, okay? Just share and pump hearts. I know you guys are enjoying. I'm enjoying. I'm having fun as well. Share the video and pump hearts, okay? I'm going to project your comments. Right. So this is what happens with a lot of these relationships. Now, what comes out to the public is the black eye. What comes out to the public is the arm that has been broken. Now, you don't see the ears because some men are really tolerant. Haven't you seen a woman talking to the man anyhow, and then you're asking yourself, I say, the man try you? It is true. Have you seen a woman who is being beaten? We see that on social media every day, right? And we'll be like, I said, the woman walk now with today. It is true. It is true. So some of these people, until they have been pushed to the wall before they retaliate. And for verbal abuse for a woman, one mob then our mob they pass like number for petrol like that. So we can say 1,000 words in a minute, especially when we get angry. Now the man has held himself for too long, and his patient quotient is that low now, and he cannot possibly continue like that. Guess what? He's going to retaliate, especially with their egos. He'll be like, you talk for who? Now a man can let that go as long as you guys are behind closed doors. You're like, okay, we're arguing. My wife has the right to express herself. Now, first of my woman day, so I don't leave it like that. Or I talk, you talk and you stick and you're tired. Some men could really be like that. There's some men like that. But trust me, the way a man will leave everything, forget that you're a woman, and use his fist when you talk to him like that in public, because men don't like to be talked, to be spoken of. In fact, they don't want their ego to be crushed. So you don't crush your ego. He will want to prove a point that I'm stronger than you, that I'm still the man in the relationship for the most part. So this talking thing, you know, a lot of men will let it go and then they will forcefully come back. Again, the woman. When a woman stays behind closed doors, that's why sometimes when women come to report domestic violence, that's taken so long, and you're asking yourself, I say, you will go through all these things, and all the while the woman is assuming and hoping and praying that it's going to stop, and it's not going to stop. It keeps going on. So because it is not being seen, the man knows that nobody is seeing me, I can beat you and get away with it. The woman will lie and cover it up and give excuses that this is what's happening. No, I fell from the staircase. I bruised my arm from this. Oh, I had an accident, because they're covering up. Now, when the woman has gotten to the end of herself, she can no longer take it. She starts verbalizing. So it is both ways. The domestic violence can bring about the physical violence, as well as the physical violence can bring about the domestic violence. And the other violences, of course, are inside, in between, like that. So we've talked about financial violence. We've talked about physical violence, and then we've talked about verbal violence. And then mental violence or psychological abuse or violence. Remember, we're using these words interchangeably. Guys, have you shared the video? I see a lot of you joining, but you're not sharing the video. Share the video now. Pump hearts. When you share, you pump hearts and tag at least 10 of your friends. I'm not seeing you people tag friends. You don't want your friends, don't you have friends on social media that you can just write like, okay, Peter, come here, John, come here, Cyril, Neba, Mwa. All of these people should come and watch. You guys, we sure have, right? So let me read some of the comments before I get into mental abuse. Verbal abuse pushes the man to physical abuse the woman. Exactly. We have this talk, sweet though, Brian Ekola. Yes, thank you. Taz Love is saying that this part is so funny because you will never see a man cry out that he has been physically abused by a woman. So only the women suffer this part. Yeah. But the reality is some men get to the point of death and no one sees the abuse. Exactly. So because the physical abuse part, just imagine say we go start to explain that. I mean, especially with, remember I'm saying I'm targeting Africa, in Cameroon, Africa. We have a mindset where a man reports violence and the entire place goes laughing. Everybody burst out laughing like, your woman, they beat you. You be weak man. So they consider you who is holding yourself, who is keeping yourself and keeping your hands to yourself from hitting your wife or from fighting back. They consider you as a weakling. Okay? So you're mocked at and laughed at because they consider you as a weakling. Right? I'm reading the comments. So Prince Nzikom is saying that, child, but some men can punch you. You will see them punching a woman as if it's their fellow man. Exactly. You know, sometimes men abuse more verbally. Exactly. So you don't see man picking when he talk past woman. And the man picking, he go push you, prostitute. You the one who are picking for. So I'm telling you, thank you, Betty Bello. There are some men who are much more verbally abusive. The things that will come out from a man's mouth, you look at it like, how do woman first marry the kind man? The man will abuse you, even secrets in the past that you told him. Now, like, he will use them for front people. Then, if family members, he would speak. And what are we talking about? Thank you so much, Betty. Because this is what we say, because men are stronger, so the physical violence comes from them more. Women are more talkative, so they are very, no, both sides can share all of this. Very, very. But of course, one is more to the other side than the other. And we understand that. Men, have you seen men who can mess you up? They will say things about you, talk to you anyhow, mother of their kids or their wives or their girlfriends, and you will look yourself nothing. That's you feel like nothing. Okay, B Helen is saying I should check the mommy, check the childbearing abuse. Let me scroll through the comments, okay, so that I don't miss out on it. I think you've sent it already, and it's gone up. Okay. I thought as much when you said that. I thought that this should be exactly. So she said childbearing abuse. I don't know if that should be categorized as abuse, because she's saying that men who want their wives to keep giving birth, and it's considered as abuse. I'm trying to get a different word for it. I don't know if it's abuse. Can we agree that that is abuse or something else? Not saying that it's good, but I'm just saying even if it's bad, I don't know if we can put it under violence, domestic violence, if that's the case. If it falls under physical violence, I don't know, but violence and childbearing can be a bit out of place, so I'm careful. So I would leave that to the end and see if any of you would come up with something regarding that. But it's a call for concern. But because we're talking about violence, and like I said, I don't want us to dilute these words, take words from here and mix them like that. We have to be careful. Okay, thank you, Bettila, for that. B. Helen, thank you as well for shedding more light on that. So we go to the next one, mental or psychological abuse. And like I said, one leads to the other. When you've gotten to the point where they have been beating you and telling you all manner of things that you are not. Okay, people are saying in the comments that no, that it should not. Okay. So men, it shares struggle is saying something. That men that are involved in physical abuse are school dropouts. It shares struggle, no. Some of these men, school dropouts, they said they even face better with the way they think. Oh, I'm telling you. You never see educated illiterate. You never see illiterate schoolmaster. Didn't you read that story? Didn't you read that story? He says struggle. Didn't you read that story? There are illiterate schoolmasters. Person where go school no pass through. You're expecting that this particular person will know better than to hit a woman. A lie, it hit woman. No even talk that one say school. No even talk that one. No go for that one. Now fat lie that. That means say these things are so now 50-50. People have gone to school, they don't know better now how to treat people. When you talk about, don't even talk that one. So when I say you talk, I say, you're expecting that somebody will know better. The temperament need to keep it, need to save them. Okay, let us be quick as well. Let's be quick because we've taken much time to explain that. Now, when the man and the woman have been so violent to each other, verbally, physically, or one person is preying on the other, it leads to mental or psychological abuse. And that psychological abuse takes a toll on you. So you begin to see yourself low. You feel very low of yourself. You start, you get into depression. This is where depression most often sets in. Because you start thinking, you start rehearsing. Yeah, that's the right word. You start rehearsing the things that were told you in maybe an argument or a fight. Oh, you are stupid. You start looking at yourself stupid. So because of that, you cannot make any effort anymore to do anything because you've just been relegated to the bottom. Like, this is me. I can't do anything. There's nothing about this. I can't sit there because they said I cannot. I cannot dress like this because they've said I cannot. I cannot do this because they have said I cannot. So you stay there. You start looking yourself as an inferior party. Instead of looking at yourself like this is somebody, that this is my own person. When the person is coming, you're afraid, you're scared. You feel less of yourself, less of a human being. That's what it does. And majority of the women, of the men who go through this, because it is in their mind. Remember, it is mental, it is psychology, so it's at the level of the mind. Because your mind, and you, as a man think it, so is that man. Because your mind cannot be more. The words you speak is coming from what has been processed in the mind. And then somehow you start saying those things to yourself. This is how people commit suicide. And I listened to a definition of this mental health by Blessing yesterday. I was blown apart. That was the simplest and the most beautiful way I've ever heard somebody define mental abuse. She said mental abuse is the sum of the different questions that you have in your head that has no answers. Oops, my God. I'm like, yes, that's it. That's the best way I've heard somebody define it. The sum of the different questions you have in your head. So if you see somebody on the street, it is too many things in their head they cannot find answers to, that has so degenerated to that level. So that's what is happening. Yes. So it starts from small. Okay, I'm stupid. Then you start, I'm stupid. I'm really stupid. Am I really stupid? Wow, I could truly be stupid. This is how, see, now so crazy start. You understand? It starts from one word that has been sent out. And then you have not counteracted it with maybe a positive word or with some words from another place or with an action. You are rehearsing that to yourself. And before long, it becomes your reality. From somebody who starts talking to themselves to somebody roaming the street, mental health it starts from one single thing. People don't just wake up and get mad all of a sudden, except when something spiritual happened. When you see somebody who goes through depression, dementia, that's how it's going, degrading. So it's a degrading process. All of these things, before you know it, you are mad, because madness now at that level, the last stage. And before death, somehow the D's keep going, because you're degrading, and degrading. But it starts from one thing. Talking alone on the street. Before you know it, you're talking. Before you know it, you're quarreling with people. Before you know it, you don't start. Before you know it, you're shouting. Before you know it, you're fighting. Before you know it, you're in a mental institution. The sum of the different questions in your head with no answers, because the difference between you and some other person in a mental institution is they did not have an answer when the question came up, but you or me had an answer based on our setup, based on our exposure, based on a lot of other factors. Yes, that's a question that is coming up. We're on psychological abuse, so a lot of these questions should obviously come up, and it's coming at the right time. So you're saying daily small jobs, can poverty, which somehow makes a man unable to meet up with his financial responsibility, lead to psychological violence? Remember, a hungry man is an angry man. Like I said, at the end of the day, it will be all the different twists that we bring together. Remember, when you come with an exceptional case, at the end of the day, we would pick out one or two things from it to say we're identifying these are the causes of these. So, like I said, one could lead to the other. So, yes, the answer to your question is a yes. It could lead to another. So they could violate you financially, and it gets into mentally disturbing you, or poverty in itself. Okay, and then they rub the poverty on you again, and then they insult you with it again, and then you are disgraced and humiliated upon and upon you. Before you know it, your brain, your mind, it already started to go left, right, center. Or in cases where some people are very high in education, and then they use their education and their mental capacity to violate the other person. So two people, one man don't go school, the other man never goes school. You think you know everything, and then you have to bring down the person with your words, make the person always feel like they're not enough. If he or she wants to contribute in any debate, you be like, I bet just shut up. You don't even know what they talk about. They want to talk about Manchester. You say no, nothing. You know it's about football. You know it. You start challenging the person instead of encouraging the person to know. Manchester, they wear which color. So they play football for this. So now which team this? Manchester, now which league they play? You know, instead of saying, you know what, this is it. You start explaining that, oh, this is European Champions League. You start explaining to them that, oh, this is it. This player was this. That's how you help people. Otherwise, because that's the same situation for two different people. One man will say, babe, can she don't fail my explain you something? The other person will be like, you know, fair qualify for even if it's this. Making themselves powerful and being in control, while the other person is the victim and always feeling less of themselves. That's how abuse works. Typical. You're not smart, you're stupid, you're dumb. Exactly. Fomenki Constance, thank you for that input. Okay, guys, let me have your comments in the comment section and keep pumping hearts. Okay, which one we've not talked about? And all of this, like I said, it goes hand in gloves. Okay, emotional abuse has a lot of, exactly, still comes from this. All the blackmails, emotional blackmail. Oh, and then some that over attention them. Oh, that's people used to, they blackmail you emotionally. You cannot speak because you're afraid to hurt them. You cannot be you because you are scared they will misinterpret it. Let me read the comment on it. Exactly. Psychologically, words like, you are not smart, I'm trying to bring you up to my standard, and if you don't know your self-worth, it will take grace to erase such words in you. Perfect. Exactly. Thank you so much. And we have, I think poverty in itself leads to violence, because a man who cannot provide for his family will be abused by his wife. Yes, it could be, for the most part. Okay, the wife will now use, and if it's a wife who is not grounded, who has not been groomed to being a real wife, in those times you would use it against your husband. So you will so mess the man up, and his ego will be so broken, and he will be so messed up to the point where he cannot, because your first fan should be your wife. Whatever you're doing, I believe so strongly, or your partner. Your first fan should be your husband or your wife. So whatever you're doing, you don't have their support. Somehow, even if the whole world is supporting you, you feel somehow you're not okay. Because these are the people who are supposed to be frontliners of your vision. They have to be running with you. And somehow, even if the whole world thinks you are all of that, and the person who is closest to you, your spouse or your partner, your significant, or that's what they call significant other, cannot see all of the good in you, it is so traumatizing. It's so hurtful. You see, so this is it. That's why for the person, even if the whole world is against you, on the other hand, and your partner is with you, that's like that's like everything. You see the amount of power that you can have on your spouse. But now for you to use it and in a controlling format is what we're against. And that's what constitutes domestic violence or abuse. Abuse, remember, it comes from the word abuse. So AB, use, meaning abnormal use. That's just a short for it. Abnormal use. Abuse means abnormal use. So it's not as if, oh, you cannot, because you have the power, you cannot talk. No, you can talk. But if you do it abnormally, that's when the error is. That's where the error lies. Okay. Now you sabi, everybody calling people their name never sabi when they can hijack una. When I not call my name, so I'll be watching this show. Guys, share the video, come hard, okay? You know how we do it on here. Tag your friends. I say I'm not seeing, I don't know if it's my dashboard. Evangelist F.H. Banks, I see you. Long time, Papa, I see you. You've been there for a long time. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So guys, share. We've talked about what list the different types of abuses that we've mentioned. My pen has fallen. I was talking and writing in the comments. And let's go to the causes. Okay, I talked about spiritual abuse. Spiritual abuse can be seen in a lot of different ways. Spiritual abuse could be two people from different spiritual backgrounds, not limiting it to denominations, but it could come to that level, where you are being forced to practice a particular spiritual exercise, to function in a particular spiritual setup where you're not inclined to do that, that you're not being wired to do that. That's not your setup. So for instance, a man could be a magician, a man could be a voodoo, a soothsayer, all of those things, and it is not you. Or you got married to them, they showed you a different face, like this, I'm a Christian, born again, and all of that. And then you get into the house and realize that he's worshiping some different, he has a shrine, and because of that you cannot serve God and his own God. Bless me, you cannot serve your own God and his own God under the same roof. So you have to succumb to that spiritual exercise. It could be anything from different sides. So the money is there, every other thing is there. He's not beating you, he's not abusing you anyway, but spiritually he's sapping a lot from you that you cannot tell anybody, because somehow you're already being blackmailed. You will die if you tell somebody. You're being abused spiritually. It could also be in the fellowship, even in churches. It goes along fellowshipping in churches. There's some people, just Christians, getting married to Muslims, and Muslims have their own way of worship, Christians have their own way of worship, and then we start imposing some doctrines on each other, and it's not going, and you know that clearly it is wrong here. It goes a long way. But like I always say, I don't like to always limit spiritism to denominations and religion, because the one is like the other side of the coin, but somehow one is embedded in the other, however it is. But most of it, to understand that the spirit realm is jam-packed, and it's different sorts of spiritism and different things that are not compatible. So your spiritual upbringing, some other person is very spiritual, but in a different angle. Do you know that demon worshippers are also they're also spiritual? So just so we know, when we're talking about somebody who is spiritual, don't think it is just limited to church. No, people are spirit, they say spiritism. Some people worship the cloud. Some people worship snakes. Some people worship a picture, a calf, a drawing. You people know, we come from Africa. People have loads of those things. And for you to impose that on somebody, it's abuse or violation. And because somehow they're scared of dying, they'll have to succumb to it. At the end of the day, no, not necessarily. Remember, you're practicing the spiritual. I'm talking, you're saying what I've explained is psychological. No, the spirit part of it. Remember, I said one could lead to the other. Some work hand in gloves, but you cannot completely wipe it off. Okay? So spiritism is something, it's a serious thing. It is a serious thing, because it's not just limited to your head. You actually you go about, because when they say psychological, it's limited to the mind. But if it is spiritism, it encompasses more than just the mind and a lot of other things, because you also have to use your physical to practice it. And your spirit man is immersed in that. You understand? So you have to worship it. You're not just worshiping in your mind, so you cannot limit it to psychological. It has a part to play on the psychology, but again, the spirit man as well. Okay? So this abuse goes both ways. The spirit, the mind, because man is a tripartite being. You have the body, the soul, and you have the spirit. So if you're abusing, we're looking at all of these three different angles. Any other abuse falls within these three abuses. You understand now? So yes, for Menki, Constance is saying, yes, same church, same department. Example, prayer ban. If one can see and the other can't, the other is known as not spiritual or living a sinful life. I can imagine. And these things happen with us, especially with us, the Pentecostals, you know. So spirituality in church is rated at a particular angle, and a lot of exercises you feel like, of course, to a considerable extent, when you're growing spiritually, there are things you're expected not to do or to do. You understand? So normally, because a lot of people now, okay, sorry, I'm having some messages. So a lot of people now have misused that. They're looking at it like, oh, if you be different position for church, it means that say you be highly in the spirit. Not necessarily. It could work both ways. But again, the things of the spirit is really not always very obvious to the physical. So you might need to see in the spirit to understand the things of the spirit. Otherwise, if you're going with your normal eyes, you will not understand it. That's why I said it's an abuse, and you need spiritual eyes to see that kind of abuse, especially if it's not vocalized like that. Okay. Yeah. In our minds suffer. Exactly. I like that conclusion. Perpetua is saying that I think that all forms of abuse eventually lead to psychological abuse. Our minds suffer if we are physically, sexually, and financially abused. Last, we end up with depression, anxiety, and post-traumatic disorder. The stress, is it post-traumatic stress disorder or whatever? That PTSD. I think that's it. Yes, exactly, perpetual active. That's what happens. That's what happens. At the end of the day, it ends at the level of the mind, because it's now with the mind. As a man thinketh, so is he. So what you think in you become what you've been thinking, because you've been processing that over and over and telling yourself, this is true, this is what I am. And before long, we're roaming the street or something. Okay, guys, still share the video now. Pump hearts. We are about rounding up. Don't worry. We're getting now to sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is when somebody forcefully and uses power and control over you sexually. So it could be when the sex is not given and when the sex is given. So when the sex is not given, it is your wife or your husband starving you of sex, or somebody taking it by force without consent. Okay, can we get that? So sexual abuse is someone, the man, whichever gender, using power to control the other person during sex. Now, it could be if the sex is given or the sex is not given. So for the most part, you have a wife, the wife is starving you continuously, no sex. You know, if you wear a jean trousers, the one talk, you don't wear tie bear add on top. Emotional sexual abuse, or forcefully taking it without the consent of the other. That's when we call rape. That is when we call it rape. So it could be rape and the absence of it. So the sex forcefully taken and that which has been stripped off. So you're not having it. That's why I said it is not just limited to marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, cohabiting, come we stay, married, all of these different relationships. And there is, of course, there is we did I don't know when we talked about this and somebody was mentioning spousal rape, and with such topics I did answer it at some point, you know, yes. But the thing is, just so that a man does not, you have a quarrel with somebody in bed, you guys wanted to make out, you have a small quarrel, and then the person says that you raped them, or women will go out and say their husband raped them and all of that. I'm very careful with this particular spousal rape part, because if it goes wrong, it is serious allegations, and you want to be sure that truly they were raped. Okay, you want to be sure that truly they were raped. Drugging someone in order to take sexual advantage also is sexual abuse. I love that she struggle. Drugging somebody. So obviously, like I said, it's out of their consent. So it's sexual abuse, is raping them. And then you make them lack of power. So even if they are conscious, they lack power. They lack the power to defend themselves. So somehow you have imposed your control over them. You see how it works, right? That's how it is. Guys, share the video, come heart. Eugenics Young. A married spouse cannot rape his or her partner. It's called sexual assault. I don't know what you said you cannot, then you said it is called that. So I don't know if there was an error with a word or something. Another person says that I stand against domestic violence to the core. So no matter what you say to me, I can't, for whatsoever reason, compromise. Wife beating, I move. You see, that's it. Okay, guys, we've talked about the different types of abuses, and can we now talk about, let me see other comments. I think a man forcing his wife to continuously having children with him against her wish is sexually abusing her. Okay, now I'm happy that we're having this chat. You see, now B. Helen talked about childbirth abuse. That was really interesting. So a man continuously having it, even when the woman's health is at risk, the man is insisting that you have more kids. The woman is weak. You can clearly tell that this woman is not strong again to be handling pregnancies and all of that, maybe for health reasons, maybe even age, and the man is only insisting. I think we can put this, because would this fall now under sexual abuse? No, because, well, if you can put that there, but I understand now, this makes a lot more sense with what we are saying, with what B. Helen brought in, because some men would really abuse that, because it could still fall under physical abuse, you know, because the physically you could make somebody to kill, you could kill somebody with that, because the woman could lose their lives by just doing that. If you're new on the platform, guys, please share the video, palm hearts. This is was supposed to be relationship hot topics. It's still relationship hot topics, but I'm on here by myself today because my panel members had a lot of things that they had to handle and they could not do otherwise. Okay, so next week you're going to be seeing them with a different beautiful topic. So we go on to causes, the different causes of abuse or domestic violence. Remember, it's all about domestic violence. After severe beatings, okay, yes, spousal rape, this is what she's saying. And I'm happy that you actually could give out the definition the way it is. Spousal rape usually happens after a severe beating, and it is a non-consent, and it is non-consensual. That is, the woman clearly doesn't want to make up. want make up sex. Yes. So you beating the woman, put all sorts of breaches her, she's sick, she's hurt, and then you come upon that again, and she doesn't want to, she's even struggling, and then you rape her. So that is the case where I personally would say you raped your wife. That is it. And a lot of men, some of them even listening to me, do that. Some people do that. Tambi Princess Bay, welcome to the show. I see you. It seems as if you're just joining. Have you shared the video? Welcome, sweetheart. Thank you for joining. Abuse is common nowadays with married men. Yes, yes. I did not read it properly. Somebody says she'd hold abuse. Try, Jesus. Okay, that's still another form of sexual abuse. I'm happy you mentioned that, because you want to do things that the woman or the man, especially this on the woman's part, the woman doesn't want to do it. So the men give excuses that, oh, the V is no longer tight enough for them to have the pleasure. They cannot be satisfied with the V. Even when the woman decides to say, you know what, I can use my mouth to do whatever you want to do, the man will say, no, I want it through the anus. And then that's where it leads. And you forcefully do that. That's abuse. Oh yes, and for me, you know, if you know me, you don't know say this one enough abuse. That means only the thought of that is enough abuse for me. So we're not going to be talking about it. But for couples who have decided, okay, now she that's your personal business. But if you are talking about abuse and a woman is clearly not for it, and you're insisting and forcing her into that, it's abuse, you know. So that would be it for sexual abuse. And I want us to get into the causes of abuse. Okay. From hearts, guys. I'm looking for my pen. Actually, one sec. Let me get my pen. It fell down. Oh. Okay. Somebody say phobia abuse. And I just ignore me for the place where they want to name them. And I just point me for that, my brother. You want one that's no, for real. It's true. That's one of the highest ways of like doing some things you don't want to. Even treason, people get into, oh, I want to, that's abuse. People will come and be like, okay, I have another person we have to have a treason with, and it's a must, you have to do, it's sexual abuse. So when we talk about sexual abuse, it's not just rape, it's not just limited to rape. These are remember, power, control over the person. This is that's the main idea behind it. Princess Cash, darling, I see you, you're late. When you join, can you share the video? Some of you, I don't even need to tell you. I know you've shared already. Share, form hearts. Thank you so much. Much hearts. Drug abuse. Okay, no, drug abuse. That one, even you can abuse yourself with drugs. So this one, we're talking about domestic violence. Remember, let's not get out of it. I know, right? Couples should adhere to this platform. I thank you so much, Prince Sindikum. I like that. Thank you so much for endorsing our platform. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go to the causes of what are the causes? Can we discuss the causes in the comments? Can we talk about the different causes in the comments? Share is straight struggle block you for the video. I know, right? Somebody's calling me General. General in the building. Nice. Thank you so much. Awan Jingama, you're late, man. You're late today. Okay, so I know, see, Ishe will be very careful. So causes of domestic violence. What are the causes of domestic violence? Narcissist. Let's start with that. Narcissist. And I don't want us to go with this. And toxic femininity. You see, feminism. Narcissist and toxic feminist. You see these two people. And toxic, well, I would say narcissist and toxic feminist. You see these people, they are the highest people who abuse. You see these two sets of people, they control your mind with in a way that they control you in a way in people who are never sorry, who never repent, who are never apologetic. You're always at fault. They turn the tables around. It is your fault. It is you. It is you. It is you. You see these set of people, that's the highest people. See, narcissists and toxic feminists, these are the highest people you should run away from. I'm telling you, the highest people you should run, because they will abuse you and tell you, and they will use a different word to cover it up for. The people who always think they're always right. They're always preying on you. They feel like in fact, now you're always the problem. In that relationship, you're the problem. It is never them. They are doing you a favor to be with you. Toxic feminism. They are doing you a favor. They think that being with them is, you should be happy that I'm with you. You should be. Come on. You should be. You be woo. Those people who feel they're on top of everybody, those are the kind of people you should desist from. A narcissist thinks they're always right. They are never at fault. They are doing you a favor being with you. Typical causes of domestic violence, guys. We're on that now. I know, right? Somebody calls them cowards. I'm seeing you guys listing them. Somebody is saying alcohol. If we use that could be more of a consequence than a cause. To me, it says struggle, because when you say it's a cause, what caused the person to start drinking? Because it could rather be abuse that has sent the person into alcohol. I'm telling you. So it is tricky for us to place it under a cause. Oh, now because they don't go drink Mimbo drunk. Now wait to push it first for go drink the Mimbo. So you want to look it like that, okay, at that, like that. So you have to. Another reason for a cause for this, it could be patterns of the bloodline. If you look at a man who is abusing the wife, the tendency is the child, the son, will grow up in that light. Guys, write it down in the comments. I'm not seeing you numbering them. I know you're giving the different ones, but what I say as well, just write it down and number them. So the first one, we talked about narcissists and toxic feminists. And we talked about the second one, now we're talking about patterns of the bloodline. So there are people, fathers, the children. Remember, children learn from us by what we do, not what we say. Not necessarily what we say. Majority of the time, they will learn by what they've seen us do, not what they hear us telling them. So you will tell a child, this and this and that, then the child will watch your actions and then follow what you're doing. So that's what happens. So you beat your wife, insult your husband, and then go back and tell, don't you see this thing I'm doing? Don't do it. Now, this is not for you. This is not for you. This is a bad thing. Don't do it. That child will grow up and start talking like that to the husband. That's why you see, you give birth to a son, and then the son grows up, is remarkably like the dad. No, they see things that we do. They do. And if it's for maybe a single dad or a single mom parenting like that, they replicate exactly you, because all what you're saying, they're seeing. It's even different for kids who grow up in the same family. One could be looking at the father, the other could be looking at the mother. So you will see two different children from the same home, and acting differently. So you can tell that one is following the footsteps of the mother also. But especially with single parenting, you copy exactly what the parents are doing. You're talking about did I say feminism? I didn't say feminism. I said toxic feminism. Why did you take off the toxic there? Now you're arguing yourself, because you're not arguing me, because that's not what I said. Okay? So eugenics young, you should know that. Don't take off people's words and replace it with something, or don't subtract words and then try to insist that that's what they did. Okay? So that just so that we know that. I was clear on the words I used. I said toxic feminist, and I mean that. And if you want to ask of that definition, then I'm certain. That's why I mentioned, you don't have I did not add anything to narcissism, right? Because narcissism is narcissism. But I know that there's feminism and there's toxic feminism. That's why I gave a difference, just so that. So when you're listening to me, please go with the words I use. Don't bring your own words and then you say I said that. No, I know what I say all the time. Okay. So I was talking on, so we've had patterns of the bloodline. That pattern, the girl would, so you wake up, your father was doing it, you wake up, you're doing, your mother was doing it, you wake up, you start doing it. Somehow it's there. There is a family of abusers. a bloodline of abusers. Now, so they with our family, that kind of people. Now, so they with our family. Now, so a man never the family beat woman, so a woman never the family the quarrel all time. Patterns. I was talking with my friend the other day, Apostle Martin Luther. We're talking about these patterns, and we said, when you have done it one time, two times, the third time, it starts causing a pattern. So it starts reoccurring. So that's why when something happens once, you want to stop it at that level. If something happens twice, be intentional about stopping it. Otherwise, wait till you talk. Just watch. You don't notice. You'll start to see that it just becomes a pattern. Weekly, seasonally, quarterly. You just notice and this is something that's reoccurring. Where did it start? One thing, the seed that was sown, it was not broken, it was not destroyed, it grew and it bore fruits. That's how it is. Okay? Because when you sow one seed, you need to reap the same seed. It becomes a pattern and it becomes like that continuously. Before you know it, your great family, they have. You think so, all these things, and even like this thing we talk about suicide. Let's face fact. All these things we talked about suicide, things in a high start. One person don't commit, I want to see the next one don't follow. You want to start see it don't become a pattern now for that particular family. The man they commit suicide, the person they do this. When it happens once, guys, be intentional about stopping it. It's something that you don't want to happen again. Intentional about stopping it. And for us Christians, my mentor always teaches us this: you break bread, take communion, break bread, pray against that thing. It's as easy as that. As I always say, deliverance is so easy. You can do it by yourself. You don't necessarily need all the laying of hands and all of that. You don't necessarily, except it's something that has been happening, and then you need maybe a stronger authority over your life to break it for you. But if it's something that you have done and you don't want to continuously do that thing, it is easy for you to break bread. For Christians, I insist, if you want, not for every other person. Any other person of different background would have a different way of going about it. You can break bread and use positive words and the word of God to counsel all of that. So it's going to help you. Okay. We have the spiritual, it could be a spiritual attack on you. So it's something, again, it still falls under the pattern, but it could still be spiritual. Yeah. It could be a baggage that you carry spiritually. It could be a spirit or a demon that is acting in your life. If we are, there's no gainsay about that. That's why we're talking about causes. We are targeting every other angle. It could be a spiritual baggage that you carry. I'm trying to get the comments now from you people. Okay, you see what I think, Gola Christian, your comment is very, very interesting, but I think you came late because we mentioned that already. Physical abuse from men is a response to psychological abuse from women. Okay, or verbal abuse. Remember, we already talked about that one could lead to the other, but not necessarily. That when I started off, I said physical abuse could lead to psychological abuse, and it could lead to verbal abuse could lead to physical abuse, and it could lead to psychological abuse. But some people have their own physical abuse. Nobody verbally abused them. Nobody psychologically abused them. They have spiritual baggages. So when that spirit is turning in their head, they look for somebody to beat. And that case, nobody has abused them. So you see, that's why I always say the word necessarily is always important to use, because if we just say it is because a woman spoke to you rudely, then you beat her. There are women who have not spoken rudely to their men, then the men have beaten them. What would you say about that? You understand now? So I always say I use a lot of words in a day, but I'm careful with the words I use, so that I know the words I use. I'm always careful with words, because you could say something now and then some people misinterpret it. That's why I take time to break it down so that we understand. Lack of communication skills, finesse skills, lack of communication, finesse or skills. Choleric people with less communication skills tend to be violent at any slightest. I wrote it down: incompatibility in temperaments. That's another cause. Choleric people have the tendency of being angry. Now, the temperament choleric stems from the French word colère, which means anger. So if you fall under those who are choleric in nature, you have the tendency of being angry. And now, if you are if you are a choleric person and you meet with a sanguine person, because a sanguine and phlegmatic and melancholic are lighter temperaments when it comes to anger and bitterness, they tend to complement you. I hope we're understanding. Maybe these things are too big for us to understand, but I just hope if you don't understand, write it in the comments and I'll break it down. Because a choleric person needs some other person with a softer and a more light-hearted person, temperament, to blend with. When I say temperamental compatibility, this is one thing which matters a lot and people don't know. If you are this person who gets angry easily, look for somebody who is your opposite in temperament. You can blend. Somebody who laughs at everything, like you really serious now, wait so. Now wait is serious with them so. Now wait, or the person can just be silent when you are shouting. Because when two people start shouting, think about it. Have you seen men who are quarreling, man and a wife and a woman? The moment the woman sits quiet, it's only how much the man will speak. The man will speak and let it go. But when the woman starts talking back, haha, the man, now for the way the whole place go on, even you and your friends, it happens with me a lot. So the moment one person is talking over the other, that's how temperament is built. Now the other person who is sanguine and light-hearted really doesn't take it at heart. They're just having an argument or a discussion. But somebody who is choleric or especially melancholy, because melancholic people rarely speak, but they really act and they can really be wild. You know, they tend to harbor bitterness and pain and grudges easily. So they go vex over, vex. Two things when they argue, they all are true. You crush the other person, the person they crush you too. They are all you take the choleric thing, put on your head for some level. But now choleric tendencies or temperament varies. Some people are too choleric. Some people 80% choleric. Some people just 20% choleric. If you know about temperaments, I thought about temperaments a long time ago. I still always just in counseling on the platform, I touch on it, but it matters a lot. I was saying that I'm choleric and sanguine. Because that's why you people see me, I'll get angry now. Then the next minute I'm laughing. Because my sanguine side comes into play. My sanguine side is the more bubbly and playful and lively person. Now, when I get angry or I get into my choleric state, that's when you see me, I'm very stern. I'm very strict. I'm very angry. I'm annoyed now. Then the next minute. So you see my temperament, I know myself very well. I know what will hurt me. I know who I blend with easily. On the other side, but we're not here to be. I just had to say that because it's one of the posts that I wrote down and he mentioned, is it a he, Boris? He mentioned it as well. I wanted us to talk on that. When people are getting married, you want to check the people's temperaments, how they react to things. The person when he don't vex, he take bottle, scatter and for you two go for this, one will do na her sister. Causes of next course, guys. You guys just got stuck at that particular point. Felt like everybody was just listening. Guys, please keep pumping hearts, sharing the video. I'm not seeing hearts again. What's going on? Share the video, pump hearts. Let me see your comments. I'm not seeing the comments again. Okay. I'm not seeing your comments. Or is it my screen that is stopped? But hey, I'm not seeing your comments. Keep sharing. And then we have lack of self-love. That could be a consequence. It could be a cause. Like somebody mentioned alcohol, and I'm like, what caused the self-love? The lack of it. So when people have low self-esteem, okay, that could be a consequence. Or if you have low self-esteem, you could abuse people with it. Or the domestic violence could force you, make you feel less of yourself. Yes, it's very important. OB bounce. I love that. Mood swings. Where you see people they wake up and vex. Small thing, don't vex. Small thing, you don't vex. Small thing. So when they're on the go vex, choleric people. Better choleric people get angry because they express themselves. If they let it go easily. That's why you seem like I always telling people, as I don't vex for this, so this some comment. You don't pass. So I don't even know the person where I be vexed with. You don't pass. That's I don't keep it in my heart for 1 second. It don't go. But I don't express myself, so it don't pass. You see melancholic people, they will not speak. 20 years later, They are still telling you what you did to them in 1725. Ah. Yeah, but the thing is that I don't know if it's my screen that is stuck or my comments that are stuck or what, because I'm not seeing them going up again. And maybe it's my dashboard. I'm really sorry about that. My bad. There are loads of comments, okay, but I'm not seeing that. Okay, but let's just keep on, guys. Keep sharing the video and pumping hearts. So that's it. I've gotten into temperaments, but temperaments matter a lot. So if your temperament is not compatible with another's, trust me, violence will come, especially with those people I've talked about their anger and temperament and how they react to situations. Okay, okay, it's coming again. So yeah. Sometimes, guys, red flags. Okay, what are the solutions to all of this? Your company that you keep could be your company could either encourage or discourage you in all of what we're saying. So let me get into the solutions, then we'll come back to pick bits and bits of things that we missed out on because I'm looking at the time. When we want to tackle domestic violence, I'm happy my mentor said this to me. He said the perpetrator, you have to look at it from the angle of the perpetrator and also the victim. So so the angle of the perpetrator and that of the victim. So you cannot just say, okay, solutions to domestic violence, and then you give, for instance, speaking out, and then because that will be the victim, now you're talking about the speaking out. What about the perpetrator? I was talking about the other time, we were talking about this rape culture, and we're talking about it, and I'm like, sometimes we only focus on the victims. We don't focus on the people who carry out it. Like, ask them. They don't just carry them, go lock them, you spend prison and all of that. They've not taken them through therapy to ask them, understand what's going through in their minds. For you to see a woman and you pounce, you fall on top and rape that woman. How do you feel about yourself? What caused that? We don't focus on these perpetrators. We only focus on the victims. And because we keep healing the victims, the perpetrators are still there. More like you're trying to reduce the victims, but the perpetrators are still increasing their numbers, or they are still being constant. This is my emphasize on that inferiority complex. Right? I know. So that those people in inferiority complex, they use a lot of emotional abuse on emotional blackmail. They do a lot of emotional blackmail. That's everything is about them. Everything is because you hate them, or they are not enough, or you are insulting them, or it's hard when people are not confident in themselves. But like I said, it could be a cause and it could be a consequence. So because the law will tell you negative thing about yourself, then you have low self-esteem again. Yes. Red flags. When you are in a relationship with somebody, see, be honest with yourself. If somebody slaps you when you people are dating, he will beat you up. If a woman is beating you up when you people are dating, when she gets into marriage, she will kill you. These are red flags. Just like Lafleur said, okay, I'm doing it haphazardly now because of time and we need to round up. Red flags, they flop the whole place. You want to get somebody, smarting, bam, he don't slap you. Smarting, bam, he don't cost you. Smarting, bam, he don't say a lot of things. Belittling you. Like the case you were talking about on the platform. And remember, guys, when somebody is being abused, I said this in one of the comments, they don't have power of their own because power is with the other party. You've somehow taken away their power. Even to speak out, though, is one of the solutions, but they don't have this much power like you and I. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. They don't have this much power. When you see a woman constantly, a boy beats up a woman and the woman goes back, she is suffering. She cannot help herself. Other people need to help her. If you see a man constantly being abused, he is suffering. He cannot. When we sit and we just say, come on, no, come on, no, it's not easy to come out no like that because somehow they have been won over. They have been truly abused. And their minds at that time is not functioning like you and I. The words they used to listening to is negative, negative, negative. Somehow they've told themselves that I am not enough. No other person would take me. Where am I going to? That could be the only time they've ever been exposed to love. That could be their only definition of love they've ever had to know. So it is not always easy for an abusive a victim to leave, or even for the abuser, the perpetrator, to end it. That's why my mentor was saying, you look at it from both angles. You have to speak to the perpetrator and also to speak to the victim, to also understand both of them, what's going through their mind, so that you build both arms, not just one. When you are in a relationship with somebody, take note. The problem with most of us is we get into a relationship and finances, money, and sex cloud our judgment. I made a video in this live. I said this. And when you have had sex with them or they don't give you money, somehow your conscience is being bought over. And somehow you cannot be very objective again when you're analyzing anything. That is why when you see the red flags, they tell you a red flags that man will kill you when he marry you. You know, yeah, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. Because somehow he has punched your eye and he has bought you a designer shade to cover it up. Somehow he has beaten you up and he has paid school fee for your family members. So you cannot talk because they've bought you over. When you continuously ignore red flags, they tend to see these are the consequences. When people show you who they are, believe them. Beliefs in a truth. These are the solutions. You don't need to endure it. You can also, one of the solutions is not getting into it in the first place. That's one of the solutions to domestic violence, not getting into it, into the marriage. You must not. They see red flags and they insist on the red flags. Exactly. They always console themselves. It's going to change. Exactly like what we were saying today, right? The person will change, the person will not change. And I said this, especially with men. Men don't see women when we love, no, we change all kinds of, we change our name, we change our physical being, we change a lot of us, a lot of things. We even bring down ourselves just to fit into a man's setup. Trust me, man picking this or no, he may change anything. Even in name is still remain. From his name to his attitude, see, it's going to take the grace of God on issues which have to be changed about a man that you would take to God in prayers, or you would learn to deal with it. The man will not change. Men change, first of all, if they love you and a decision where they make them. Don't be say you insist and they change. And the mistake is, like I was saying, if you graduate an attitude, a flaw into marriage, when he did not change when you people were dating, just forget, just leave that one and say, God get power to change him. You will either learn to deal with that bad fashion of his, or not only God with fasting and prayers, where if he will change, he will even change. Men, they don't change. They don't. Especially men, they could hardly change. That's why you keep talking and talking and killing yourself. The next minute, they just pretend for you to don't change. No. The next minute, it will continue. It could take now maybe an encounter with the Holy Spirit for them to change. And what of a man we don't even believe in God? Most of it, exactly, Laura Love. They're buying you off. You get into the home, there you start see the real thing inside house. These are the things we should be honest with ourselves. Because most of these things, oh, he's beating me. When did he start beating you? Why did he start beating you? Sometimes you don't already start show him. Even he ex, you don't already hear. You want to go start dating. You hear say he beat the ex, okay? They admit the ex. He beat the ex, okay? Picking come off from ex belle. He do this. He beat you. Mami sote this and that. You come on carry yourself. Say I'm beautiful. I'm Queen Elizabeth. So I'm going to go. He go change. That's what the mistakes we make. That's the mistake most of us, especially women, make, and we're the first to cry foul when it doesn't go our way. He will not change. So if you are taking a man, take him for who he is. Doesn't as so you don't take a bad fashion. If he the show again, the bad fashion will continue and no minor. If you want to get married to a chick, and that's where one of the emotional abuse, we do not even talk much on emotional abuse. People who constantly cheat on you. Emotionally, that's how you're draining the other person because they're thinking to themselves, you know, if you are dating a chick, boy, where in the community, the whole place is for this side, this sleep for this side, get it, they can't fight for it. You finally succeed for sleep. You don't take it with that bad fashion. If you hear say cheat, sister, just cry for your pillow, cover your eye, wear your shades, designer shade, wear and come on you. But for you for go to explain and for people say, my husband is cheating on me. No, sister, you knew he was a cheat before you got into it. Let's be clear on these things. If you know if it change where it woo you, not that way to already get you as your wife, it will change. These are the things we should be putting in our heads. Otherwise, we're wasting our times. We'll only go around in circles and facing the same problems. Garbage in, garbage out. Yes, infidelity makes the other partner feel like they're not worthy enough. Exactly. Seriously. Speak out. And as much as it is difficult, you should at least have somebody. What I always say, even though you not say your things to many people, you don't necessarily need to bring it on social media. You have one person in your life that you respect, that you trust, that you can confide in. If you don't get, and then you get the problem. Everybody cannot be bad. If everybody for your life be bad, then you get the problem. I'm not a fan of exposing things, a relationship on social media. You have a problem, you come and the whole place explain how your man be. I'm not a fan. Me, I know Demi for that style. I believe say counselors the day if you talk to them. That's why even on the platform they would hide ID, so that when you come with your problem, nobody knows who has brought this problem, and you can take your counseling even with a blast the way they blast you, but nobody will know, and everybody goes home fine. But to sit silent is how you it starts by even acknowledging that you are being abused. That's why we're showing you the different abuses. To know that I'm being abused, I need to cry out, I need to shout out, I need to speak out. Otherwise, you will die. Oh, you see all the people they always call Christianity, so now they'll finally become pastors. Then when God called, now so Paul be the condemned Christians. When God want away for here, God is no respecter of man. You people can insult Christianity all you want, but I'm telling you, when I go check Paul for Bible, you people don't want to hear the truth. When I go to check Paul for Bible, so be the insult, even killing of Christians. That way you want transform. Now you don't write 2/3 of the entire scripture. When God, that's why I always say, the follow people the way they need to go church. The follow people they don't want to talk about Christ. Follow people who don't want to hear about God. When God will touch them, they go give their life for your place, Christ. So when you hear people who are not talk, focus on your own God before focus on God. They go their own turn. They will serve God so they move slippers for road. That's why I don't bother about people who insult Christianity or who insult God. Your time is coming, bro. Some of us too will be the thing like when time where God arrest you, no say how study you work will even kabash. So you can keep on insulting Christianity. It's your choice and it's your life. But the day you remember me, how many of you people serving God today? 10 years back when you were serving? Tell me how many? That's always the thing. When you see people who have bent on Christianity, insisting on, because I always say when you don't like something, you don't want to have anything to do with that thing. You don't need to be part of the thing. When you see somebody who doesn't like something, who claims not to like something and constantly is talking about that thing, lie. That's why they say some people are hiding behind the scenes to talk about They do gay, but they work at propaganda, they are against it. When you don't like something, you're not even talking about it. You don't want to have anything to do with it. But if you continuously, it just shows that there is a question in your heart that you're looking for a solution. I don't know why I'm saying this. I saw a comment on there and I just have to say it. There's a question when you see so many people who claim they don't like Christianity, they don't want anything to do with, but every day for their page, they talk against. Those people are looking for answers. And when God will call them, you will be working busy for their back. When God called them, now just say some of you will follow people and fall inside pit, then they will be saved. After that, now I say some people will repent at your funerals. Continue with the work and follow people. Okay, God, that was just an aside. Hopefully somebody has heard what I said. And then you run away. Now, this is where Cameroon is lagging. Okay. I know, right? I love this, Laura. You say the more they insult Christianity, the harder their divine arrest. I don't give you example for Apostle Paul. It's just that I don't want to change this thing into what we're saying. Apostle Paul. When I go look how he persecute Christian, then check his life. Matter of fact, it's denied for married only because of Christianity. The same Christianity will be. When he go arrest you, sometimes it is just the level at which God want to use you, where he make and you fight back, so you don't even know. And like I always say, until you know you don't receive deliverance and a transformation, you won't know which spirit is speaking through you. You will never know which spirit is talking through you. So those of you who have decided to carry Christianity to your head like plantain chips for the work and insult Christians and all of that, the way you we are waiting for you. You will become a slave for Christ. you will be a slave for Christ. I tell you. Walking away, speaking out, okay, encouraging people. When people talk about their stories to you, listen to them, okay, encourage them, give them a listening ear. And you as an onlooker, please, if you see somebody is being abused, run to. That's why I was about talking about these safe services in Cameroon. Do we have them? Are there therapy homes? Are there homes for rehabilitation homes? Are there people who have been going through these abuses? You just come and go sit down for your mommy house 2 weeks. Oh, I don't run there. You come back again. They continue to start knock you. Who is talking to these people? We don't have them. I don't know if it's in Cameroon now, but Askia the other day on a live video, she was talking about rehabilitation for drug abusers. And I was really impressed that she was coming up with something like that. That's why I wrote about it, because I know, it will mean a lot. A prisoner for Christ. Exactly. Your comments are interesting. Guys, put me hearts now. Put me hearts. I'm not seeing you people put the solutions on the screen anymore. Okay. But this is the most I could. There's a lot I could talk about. I'm happy that we shared all of this together. I'm happy that you people participated and you gave a lot. I'm not seeing the comments. I don't know if it's my dashboard that is stuck or something, but I think that we've shared a lot. If you're going through an abuse, I understand that somehow you have been stuck. Please talk to somebody. Open up to somebody. Speak to somebody. Run, cry out, even if it's in the open, in the street. Somebody will hear you. Whoever is the abuser, both men and women. Your friend, just talking to a friend, a trusted friend, could help out. It's not just about talking to anybody. If you cannot speak to me anyways, I'm not saying you must necessarily run to me. There are other platforms out there who mean well, no matter how much people go about insulting these other platforms, or these are platforms. Don't worry. There are people there who mean well for you. They will listen to you. I've hardly heard that is any of these people on social media, we doing all this counseling, somebody came and confided something in them, they went and they exposed it. I've hardly heard that, except it's happening and I'm not seeing it. But at least we know on this platform it doesn't happen. That you will come with your exceptional case and we expose you. No. Except say something question mark was there like that. But please talk to somebody. You know, not die. Otherwise you will die. You will. Some people stay there because of the kids. I always say that run because of the kids. You're saying you're staying because of the kids. No. The children are seeing that. That's the toxicity that they will grow up with. Thank you, Ishe Struggle. That's something. I'm happy you said that. Okay, thank you. I'm happy. Please, domestic abuse, domestic violence is a no, no, no. We all have to say no to it. But it starts with you. It starts with you empowering yourself to know what you can tolerate before you know what you can choose as a partner. Before you get in there and then you have to face, you don't have to face it. For starters, I hope that this has helped somebody. Please, even if they come anonymous, that's why we say, even if you want to hide your profile, even a fake profile, say, you can't talk your problem, we'll give you a solution on this platform. But somehow, don't stay in there tolerating it. The worst part of domestic violence, what they experience, I put they do come with stay or boyfriend, girlfriend. The one they beat that girl, they drag and so we heard the other day, they talk inside come and say, na boyfriend, girlfriend story. Really? Okay, guys, thank you so much. Okay, so if you joined without you understanding why I'm on here on relationship hot topics by myself today, we had the other panelists were caught up with things that they could not let go. Okay, and of course, it only happened that I knew it when I'd already set up and we're coming live. So hopefully, your favorite, okay, Emanuela, Bisong, and Denzel will be here again next week with a very, very interesting relationship hot topic. Okay, guys, thank you so much. It's been a great time with you. Laura Love, thank you. You've really been participative. Okay, we have our Jingaman. I see you. Thank you. You're the best. Thank you. I love you right back. We have Ishe Struggle. That's my boy. We have Obi Banks, a prisoner or I know, right? We have Shampoo, Jejene, ha ha ha, repenting at someone's funeral. Exactly. And yeah, we have Laura Love, we have Bila Motanga, yes, for me. We have Awan Jingaman, all of you guys, all of you. I love you so much for this constant. These crazy one. You know, tag answer kitu. I say me tag people, they know tag answer kitu. You can't should not hear the talk story that you want. Okay, all of you, I love you so much. I'm really, really happy to have you all. Okay, I'll see you guys again, and again. Thank you so much. I love you. When I put me hearts now before go. Hearts. Ah.